The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our role play session. Hope you're all eager to type your questions in the chat, volunteer to do role playing, present any questions that you have in regards to lead conversion. But that is what we're going to focus on here this morning, as we always do. So we'll take about an hour or so to do that, and we'll get to as many role plays as time permits. And don't forget, as I said, as long as it pertains to lead conversion, then I would like you to type your questions into the chat. Now, I also want to remind you, as I must do, of the upcoming boot camp. And we've got just about everybody committed to coming on the 26th to Huntington Beach. But there are some of you that still have not confirmed one way or the other. So we'd love to know that you're coming. We don't want any surprises. We want to make sure that we are prepared for the right number of participants. So you can see here, right on the Craig Proctor Coaching website, you can confirm your reservation at Huntington Beach. We are going to spend the day together working on your business. We have tons of time to discuss lead generation in detail. So if that's something that you're struggling with right now, or you'd like to add to what you're doing, I've spoken with a lot of you, and particularly those of you that are newer, and I know this is easy to happen, but when you rely on one single stream of lead generation, it's not good. I mean, that's not the objective. The objective is to have 3, 4, 5 different streams of lead generation, not to say, hey, I'm running one Facebook ad, and it's not working, or I've only generated a lead or two. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you rely on one single thing. You never want to do that. You need to be a little more diversified in your lead generation. But anyway, we'll have time on the 26th to open up all of the different areas of lead generation, and then really get into setting up the systems, conversion, the buyer and listing presentation, all of those things we're going to talk about in detail. So make sure that you're there on the 26th. It's going to be an absolutely awesome day, and you're also going to meet some fellow coaching students that you're going to really be happy that you did and forge lifelong relationships with, as we've seen happen over and over and over again. So anyway, on the 26th, confirm that you're coming, and for those of you that already have, can't wait. We're going to start registration at 8:30 in the morning, and we're really looking forward to it. And the resort hotel that we're doing it at, the Hyatt in Huntington Beach, is beautiful. It's right there on the beach. By the way, just a little pro tip, you can park right across the street. It's right on PCH. They have valet parking at the hotel only. They don't have self-parking. So directly across the street is the huge parking lot, like the beach parking. So you can just park there, and that'll make it easier. Just walk across the street to the hotel. Anyway, tomorrow is our ad clinic session. If you have any ads that you'd like us to take a look at, if you've got some ads that you're running, regardless of their performance, I'd like to see them, and then we can offer our critique and suggestions. So please make sure you do that for tomorrow. But today, of course, is role play. So what I want to do is I want to get the juices flowing here a little bit by opening up a discussion in regards to a particular element of the lead conversion. And what I want to talk about here is objections. And I want to explain how the script is designed to lessen the likeliness of objections. Okay, now first things first, you have to be prepared for every objection that you might get over the phone. That's certain. The more prepared you are, what happens is an objection is an opportunity to look smart. Right, we've said that a lot for a long, long time. If you are prepared for an objection, then when an objection comes up, what the prospect is asking you to do essentially is elaborate on what you're saying, which means they're presenting you with an opportunity to look really smart. Like, in other words, if my objection is, well, you know what, I appreciate you offering me these properties, but I already go online and I already get properties on Trulia. I have the app on my phone, and I look on Trulia every day for new listings and properties that are available for sale. You must understand that by presenting that objection, what they're doing is they're giving you an opportunity to look really smart by handling that objection and elaborating on what you're doing. It gives you the opportunity to say, well, look, I mean, you may not be aware of this, but not all of the properties that are available for sale are actually on Trulia. or on any particular website for that matter. Not only are they not on there necessarily, but often there's a lag time between when that property is available and when it is present on Trulia or any of these other websites. Not only that, but there are other properties that will never be on Trulia. You know, private listings, pocket listings, bank foreclosures, company-owned, certain distress sales. There are all kinds of excellent deals that if you know about them before the other buyers do, you have an opportunity to beat out those buyers to those great properties. The problem is in what you're doing right now, what you're seeing are only a fraction of the properties available, and you're seeing them after the other buyers have already overlooked those properties. All the other buyers have already said no to those properties. That's why they're still available for sale. You're only fishing from a tiny portion of the lake and ignoring where all the big, the better fish are, where the abundance is. So, but now understand that I wouldn't have the opportunity to share that elaboration had the prospect not put forth that objection. So the more prepared you are to handle objections, you want to root for them to object. You want to root for them to say, well, I think that what I might do is, have the more that they object, the more they converse with you, the more opportunity you have to look like the expert. And that's really what this all boils down to is, to a large extent, this is a battle of perception. If you're on the phone with an attorney and an attorney obviously knows their stuff, and they really present this perception that you are in good hands with this attorney, and you're basing that solely on the words that are coming out of their mouth and the perception that you're getting based on the words that are coming out of their mouth, their legal advice. Now, we want to present the same thing, but consider this. An attorney does not give legal advice over the telephone, yet they still, in a phone consultation, can come off looking like the expert, clearly. And that really creates a perception of confidence. Not arrogance, but confidence. And this is what we're trying to do with this universal callback script is we're using this script, and what is happening is we're causing the prospect, we're not giving them real estate advice per se. What we're doing though is very confidently we're providing information, offering suggestions. What is happening is the prospect is perceiving us as the expert. And what Craig figured out a long, long time ago is that people want to do business with experts. They don't want to do business when it comes to things that are important with a hobbyist. They don't want to do business with a part-timer. They don't want to do business with somebody that seems incompetent, and they don't want to do business with someone who seems like they're just a salesperson. What they're looking for is an expert. So when they present an objection, the expert is very easily able to respond to that objection and actually cause themselves to look even smarter. So I want you all to bear that in mind. Now here's the irony with this. The better you become with this script, the less likely it is that you get objections. So this is strange, but because the better you become at using the script, you articulate it to the prospect so that they clearly understand it. They're less likely to object, which almost is a shame, because if they did object, it would give us an opportunity to use all of the scripts that we've learned and really showcase our knowledge, and we're not given that chance if the objections aren't put forward. Whereas when you're brand new with the script and you're muddling your way through the script in the beginning, that's when all of the objections come out, and of course that's when you're less likely able to handle those objections. So this is a process, but I just want you to understand the concept behind this. And whatever objection comes forward, I want you to be so prepared that it's almost like when you hear an objection, what you're thinking as you're listening to it is, yes, I finally get to use one of my objection handling scripts to look really smart to this prospect. I can't wait till they object. That's what we want them to say. That's how we want you to sort of think of this. Okay, now, why don't we do this? anything at all that you want to discuss, as long as it pertains to lead conversion, this is definitely the form to do that. If you want to do role playing with me, simply volunteer and we will do that. But Andrea, I'll turn it over to you and we'll crank it up.
Yes, sir. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the hand icon you see at the top of your webinar control panel to role play with James. You must have a working mic or be on the telephone. You can also type "I would like to role play" or any questions you may have in the chat box. And Brad has typed in, he says, "Hi, James. I keep getting rushed off the phone due to people being at work asking for me to call them back later. How do I counter this? Should I start calling later in the day instead of the morning?"
Well, first of all, what you always want to establish is this the exception or the rule? In other words, sometimes you can make a couple of calls and get the wrong impression. You know, what you want to do is, over a period of time, you want to establish, is this happening over and over and over again, or is this just happening once in a while? See, here's the deal. The purpose of running the system this way, so that the prospect can request the information at their convenience, is that we get to call the prospect back at our convenience. Now, never forget that. Okay? Because the prospect is able to request the information through the website, it means that when it's convenient for the prospect at any time of the day or night, when it's convenient to them, they can get the information that they're looking for. They can go onto our website, and they can request the information from the ad that they're responding to at their convenience. Now, why is that a good thing for us? Because if the prospect is able to do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, way more of them will. If it doesn't involve a realtor getting the information, way more of them will do it. The benefit to the prospect is that it's easy and non-threatening, and they can get the information at their convenience. The benefit to us is that we get to follow up with the prospect now at our convenience, not their convenience. If they requested the information at 2 o'clock in the morning, we don't have to be available at 2 o'clock in the morning. If we're available at 10 a.m. the next day, then at 10 a.m. the next day, that's when we're going to call the prospect back. Now, this is what you want to establish. If you call them back at 10 o'clock in the morning and they answer their phone because they're leaving cell phones and they say, "Look, I'm at work right now, can you give me a call back?" then you should give them a call back, right? What you should say is, "Okay, you know what, when would be a better time for me to call?" And that's when you call them back. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I would suggest this though. Make sure that when they answer the phone, you're thoroughly going through the introduction. In other words, don't do this. Let's say that you're at work and your phone rings and you answer your cell phone. Now, first of all, here's where I'm always skeptical. If you are super busy at work, would you answer your cell phone? Or would you just turn the ringer off and let it go to voicemail? Like, by virtue of you answering the phone, what does that tell me about your availability at work? Whatever that work might be, whether you work in an office, whatever you're doing. If you're answering the phone, it tells me that your availability is there. I mean, otherwise, I know when I'm busy, I know that I'm not answering my cell phone because I'm busy. I can't. I turn the ringer off and it goes to voicemail. Then I will call back anyone that's responded, but I'll do it at my convenience when I'm available to do so. But this prospect hasn't done that. This prospect answered the phone at work. Now, here's my suspicion. What happened when they answered the phone is you said, "Oh, hi, how you doing? It's James calling with Remax. Just following up with you." That's the problem, is if you do not use the introduction as it was designed, it doesn't matter if the prospect is at work or they're at home watching American Idol. They're going to get rid of you because they don't understand why you're bothering them. So this is extremely important. If the prospect answers the phone and they're at work, they answered the phone because they clearly have time to answer the phone. They want to know who it is that's calling them. And if it's important enough to them, and I would suggest that buying or selling real estate is extremely important, then a short 2-minute conversation isn't going to adversely affect their workday. But it's critical that the introduction sound the way the introduction needs to sound. Oh, hi, Mary. It's James McDonald calling with Craig Proctor's office at Remax. The reason I'm calling you is I did receive your request for information on my website last night in regards to a list of properties with in-ground pools in the area, and I just wanted to let you know that I did send that information out to you, and as a courtesy, I just wanted to let you know, and hope that's okay, Mary. Be really thorough in explaining who you are and why you're calling. If you do that and the prospect answers the phone, I bet you the prospect will say, yes, I did get that, thank you. By the way, Mary, are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Are you planning on staying here locally, moving out of the area? Are you currently renting? Do you own the home you live in now? Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? Any idea when you might go ahead and make your move? The introduction is going to elicit a reaction of appreciation, and if the prospect answers the phone, they're answering the phone because they have time to talk on the phone. So anyway, there's some food for thought there, but the three key highlights are, number one, establish, is this the exception of the rule? Did this happen once? Did this happen a couple times? Is this happening over and over again? Number two, the benefit of the system is you follow up with the prospects at your convenience, not their convenience. Their convenience is when they requested the information. Your convenience is when you're available to return their call. And then finally, what we have to make sure is when we call them back, you've got to be really good at that introduction. Slow and concise. Make sure that they say thank you when you're finished your introduction, not, hey, listen, I'm at work right now, I got to go. You know, that's a bad response. That means your introduction did not do the job. Okay, great question. Who's next?
Our next guest with a hand raised is Evangeline Lynn. Your telephone line is open.
Hi, this is Joe, UA's ISA.
Oh, hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Excellent.
So I'd like to do a role play today.
All right.
Last time we did a seller, so this time I'd like to do a buyer.
Okay. So I responded to an ad. What ad might I be responding to?
So this is actually going to be our property search website. So
Okay.
you registered for our property search website.
Okay, perfect. All right. So ring. Hello.
Hi, could I speak with James, please?
Yeah, this is James.
Hi, James. This is Joe with Remax. Just calling as a courtesy because I see that you signed up for our property search site. Excuse me, looking for properties in Pasadena, and I wanted to let you know that you have full access to the site. You're free to use it as often as you like. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Sure, it's my pleasure, James. So are you planning to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Oh, I don't know about that. You know, maybe if we see the right place, but we're just looking right now. It's pretty early for us.
Okay, I understand. And James, do you currently own your own home or are you renting?
No, we rent.
Okay, great. And James, are you only looking in the Pasadena area or are you looking in other areas as well?
No, we're only looking in Pasadena.
Okay, yeah, Pasadena is a great city. James, when do you think it might be that you actually do make a move?
Well, we're pretty early in the process, as I said. I mean, we're just looking around right now. So, you know what, if in the next 6 months we're able to get our finances in order and do it, that would make us very, very happy. But it likely wouldn't be too much before that.
Okay. And James, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Not really. The lady at the bank that we're kind of working with had a realtor that she recommends that we can get a good deal if we use their realtor, but we haven't met them or anything like that. So that's as far as that went.
I see. It's good to hear that you've been to the bank already. That's a good step to take, for sure. So James, as I mentioned, you have full access to our property search site. But let me know, would it be more helpful if we set you up to receive automatic email updates whenever a property becomes available that perfectly matches your buying criteria? Now, our list includes everything you'll see on the major real estate sites, but it also includes really hard to find properties that can represent a great value, like pocket listings, company-owned properties, bank foreclosures, and other distress sales. Now, there's no cost and no obligation whatsoever for you to receive this information. Does that sound like something that would be helpful?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm on a couple of different websites, and I've got a few different apps on my phone. So I mean, if a property is available, I usually know about it. Although once in a while I do see a for sale sign, and it's a property that I didn't know about. But anyway, so yeah, no, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah, that really is the benefit of this too, is that we have a lot of properties that you're probably not actually seeing on those sites, and those are the properties that will represent a great value for you. So when would be a good time for us to get together for about 15 or 20 minutes? That way I can take down exactly what it is you're looking for.
I don't know yet. I don't know if it's maybe a little too early to do that. As I said, I mean, we're not in a position to buy something right now. So I don't know if you want to do that now or, maybe when we're a little closer.
Okay, that's fine. James, when would be a better time for me to check back with you when you think you are actually closer to making a move?
As I said, I mean, we probably wouldn't do something. I mean, if we did it within the next 6 months, we'd be pretty pleased with that. But it'll probably be, through the summer, I would guess.
Okay, why don't I check back with you in about 3 months? And shoot, I think I'm kind of blowing it here. Why don't I check back with you in about 3 months? And if you're ready, then we can get together and set you up on that automatic email service. That way, you can get the perfect property.
That's great.
Okay, thanks for your time, James. I'll
Thank
check
you,
back
Joe.
with you in a few months.
Great. Okay, now here's why I did that. Okay, so first of all, a couple little things here that I'm glad that you caught on to. The first one is, and by the way, that was excellent. At the end, I would agree that you could have gone a different course for sure, and probably should have. But a couple little things. First of all, when I said that the lady at the bank that we're talking to recommended a realtor, it should have immediately, and I think it did, sent up a sort of a light bulb went off, and you said, well, hang on, if they're that far in the process that they're talking to some lady at the bank about a home loan, that's a pretty good. Does that show motivation? And the answer is it totally shows motivation, right? So that's one thing, and maybe you could have probed a little bit and asked a question about that. Just to find out, well, has the bank given you pre-approval? And maybe I would have spilled. Maybe I would have said, well, yeah, we have. I'm just working on our down payment. But so that would be a question, a very simple, small question that you might want to throw in there to ask. But here's the bigger thing. The offer that you made was awesome. The offer that you made was absolutely awesome. The problem is this: when you asked me to get together with you, you never ever mentioned that it was free and that there was no obligation. And I cannot emphasize this enough. I've made so many thousands of these calls, and I don't care how good you make it sound. If I think for a second that you're going to charge me money or obligate me in some way, I ain't coming. I will make up any excuse in the world. I will tell you that I have no interest whatsoever in buying a property. I will tell you that I'm going away on a trip. I will say I have to check with my spouse. I'll say anything. If I think that the reason that you want me to come to your office and meet with you is to charge me money or obligate me in some way, I'm out. And here's the problem. When you introduced, when do you have 15 minutes to get together so I can do a really good job taking down what you're looking for, never ever once did you ever mention that it was free and that there was no obligation. To me, the appointment with a realtor obviously is going to cost me money and obligate me. Therefore, my job as a consumer is to say no to the salesperson. So I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you make sure that the prospect understands that by you doing a good job and getting together to take down their criteria doesn't cost them any money. You cannot emphasize that enough. They have to know that this is only beneficial to them. Okay, now, so that's one thing that you want to do. Having said that, I said, well, it's premature to do that. Maybe, we're not ready to buy right now. Here's the thing, though. That's okay. That doesn't stop you from booking the appointment, all right? Think of this. If the prospect is going to come in, let's say they're not going to buy something for 3 or 4 months, but you know that I'm actively searching for properties right now. You have a better way for me to search. There's nothing wrong with you saying to the prospect, well, look, Prospect Joe, I can see that you're actively searching for properties right now. So although you're not in a position where you buy something right now, you are looking. Problem is, you're not looking at all of the available properties. What I'm proposing is that even though you're not planning on buying something for perhaps months, you still should have access to all of the very best properties that are available as they come on the market. So don't sweat it that you're not in a position to buy something today. That doesn't matter. There is no cost. There's no obligation for you to ever buy a property. But what I'm proposing is we sit down and do a good job of determining what you're looking for so that at least you have access to all of the best properties. Does that sound like something that might be of interest to you? See, because here's the problem. When you call me back in 3 months, I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. I've already worked with the lady at the bank who's put me in touch with her real estate agent. And I probably didn't sign anything with that real estate agent, but maybe they've taken me out and shown some properties. And maybe I've got a relationship with them and I like them. They're nice. And because they're nice, I'm not going to, I'm feeling like, well, I don't really know you and I know them. So I've already got a realtor. So we're good. You've just made it really, really difficult now for you to put yourself or to pull the prospect away from them. So here's what I do want to highlight, though, more than anything else. I want everyone to notice how what was focused on was called proprietary information, and you did an awesome job of that. In other words, I know I've already given you access to properties through the website. What I'm proposing, though, is that you're not getting all of the properties that are available. There are special deals, bank foreclosures, pocket listings, private listings, company-owned properties, probates, distress sales. There are properties that may be available and are great deals that you're not going to find on the website that I have access to, and I can email them to you daily. It's free. There's no obligation. Would you be interested in that? So that was, I want everybody to really notice that. You're thinking, well, what could I possibly offer the prospect if they're already getting access to these properties? And you nailed it. It's proprietary information. It's the deals. It's the hard to find. That's what has to be focused on, and you did a really good job of doing that. So, but I can't tell you, when you're booking the appointment, they need to know that if they say yes to this appointment, there's no cost and there's no obligation attached to that appointment. And if they really get that, they're far more likely to go ahead and book the appointment. That was a really good job, though, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do really well with this script.
Thanks, James.
You're welcome.
Our next guest is John Brackett. Your line is now open.
Hello, John.
Okay. We'll move on to Angela Ponte. Your line is now open. Angela? Okay. Go ahead and remove that line. We have Marco Velasquez. Your line is now open.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing? This is Mark.
This is Marco, yes.
Oh, hi, Marco. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Excellent, excellent. All right. What would you like to do?
I'd like to do a buyer follow-up call.
All right. Perfect. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, is Mr. and Mrs. Smith there?
Yeah. This is he. Who's this?
Hi, this is Marco with Remax Masters, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for information, and I wanted to let you know that I've emailed that to you.
Okay. What was that about the property at 123 Maple Street?
Yes, and it was the Ontario foreclosure homes. You went on one of my websites.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I responded to a couple different ads yesterday that I saw in the paper.
Okay. Are folks planning on moving in the next 3 to 6 months?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Now, when you say maybe, is it that you're actively looking, but you're not very convinced of what you're looking at?
Well, I don't know about that. We're just looking around right now. Like, if we find the perfect property, then we'd probably get more serious about it. We'd need to sell our home, and moving and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's something that we're definitely going to do eventually, but as of right now, we haven't found the perfect property, so it's something that's pretty early.
Okay, so if you're telling me if you find the perfect property, you feel that then maybe you'd be able to make a move?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you just mentioned you own your own home right now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you planning to stay in the area, or are you moving out of the area?
No, well, we're staying in the area. Like we still have the same job, so we can't be too far away. But we're just looking for something nicer. That's all.
Okay, perfect. Now, if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
You know what? It'll probably be, it'll be this year. It could be, I don't know. It could be 3 months from now. It could be 6 months from now.
Okay, definitely this year. Now, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
You know, the realtor that sold us this home, every once in a while I'll get something from them in the mail. You know, I mean, they were nice, but we haven't decided whether we'd use them or not, so we're kind of keeping that open for now as to what realtor that we're going to use. There's a realtor in our neighborhood that's selling properties. You know, it seems like they're selling a lot of the properties in the neighborhood. So I don't know if they're kind of like the specialist in the neighborhood. We might talk to them. You know, I'm not necessarily saying we'd for sure use them, but if they're, you know, if they're in the neighborhood and they, you know, they have all the buyers in the neighborhood, then, you know, we definitely want to make sure we get as much for our property as possible. So.
Okay. Okay. Now, as far as your property, do you think you want to sell before you buy, or do you prefer to buy a house before you sell?
Yeah, we're not going to sell our home without having something already lined up. So, you know, we will sell our home. Obviously, we have to. We need the equity out of our home. But before we do that, we're definitely making sure that we found what we're looking for.
Okay, so you're looking definitely to buy first then. Okay. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes? And basically, it would match your home buying criteria. It's from all the real estate companies. Our list includes bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distressed sales, basically any of the good deals that are out there before they, maybe even before they get to the market, because we have our pocket listings. Okay. Would that interest you? It's free and there's no obligation.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, definitely. I'm looking at the list that you sent me here, and I think most of these properties I've already seen before, actually.
Right. And the list that I'm going to get you is going to be properties that are not on that list. There's going to be extra properties that, again, we have within our company, you know, pocket listings that maybe haven't hit the market yet, you know, distressed sales, foreclosures, bank loans. So you'll get a good overall list, and we get that to you daily.
That's excellent. Okay. And it just comes to my email? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
When would you have about 15 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Well, I can tell you right now.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Well, rather than just email you a list of hundreds of homes, I'd like to sit down with you. I have a paper that I fill out. It kind of goes over the details of what you're looking for, and I really want to do a good job of matching what I have in my inventory to what you're looking for. So it'd only be about 15 minutes. It's free. There's no obligation. What works best for you, days or evenings?
Probably evenings would be good.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, evenings probably be best.
Okay. Are you available today, this evening?
Maybe. Yeah, I can maybe possibly make that work. I want to let me talk to my wife about it. I think I'd like her to come as well. But yeah, this evening would probably work.
Okay, perfect. Let's do this. Let's set it up for this evening, 6 o'clock, and go ahead and speak to your wife. And that way, you know, if anything does come up in between now and then, just let me know. That way, you know, I can reschedule you. But let's set it up for this evening at 6 o'clock. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay, so good job. All right, so so first of all, what I want you to work on is a couple things. So I just jotted down a couple notes here. The first is this: when you're doing your introduction, be specific. The more specific you are, the more likely the prospect is to say thank you. What we don't want them thinking is, okay, what did I do? What information? Like, here's a bad intro. Yeah, hi, it's James with Remax. I'm calling because of the information you requested. I'm like, what information? I don't know what information are you talking about. Be more specific. Since you know what they requested, the more specific you are, the better. It's way better to say this. Oh, hi, it's James, Marco, it's James McDonald with Craig Proctor's office at Remax. The reason I'm calling is because I received your request on our website last night for information regarding bank foreclosures and distress sales, and I wanted to give you a courtesy call, let you know I did put that information together and email it out to you. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
That way there is nothing vague. The prospect is sitting there going, yep, I did do that. Yep, I did get the information. Thank you. But if you just call and say, hey, I'm calling because of the information you requested, if you're vague, the prospect's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it happens not every time, but way too often. And what it does is it derails the call, the conversation. So anyway, that's one thing that that I want you to work on from now on. Make sure that you're specific. Okay. Next, I really liked your conversation. You know, asking the questions, not intrusive at all. You really wanted to figure out, okay, you own a home. Are you planning on looking for your next home before you sell? All that, really, really good. You didn't try to tear me away from any other realtor or anything like that. When it comes to making the offer, here's what I want you to emphasize a little bit more. You know, in the script, you know, I don't think that if you just read the script, it doesn't really make a big deal about the fact that it's daily emails. So here's what winds up happening. The language that you use, the emphasis is more on the list than on daily. And what I want everybody to do is when you look at the buyer offer, I would rather you highlight daily, okay, daily updates rather than list, where it says our list includes, okay? So in other words, a list suggests one time. Daily infers daily, over and over again. Which of those two words would be more powerful to really emphasize to the prospect when we're making the offer? When I say, I'm going to send you a list, it's like a one-time thing, but you already sent me a list. So there's no benefit to that. Whereas if you can emphasize daily, then the prospect has this impression that every day I'm going to be receiving these properties as they come on the market. That's what we want them to think. So in the script here, under buy first, it says daily updates, but further down it says free list. Okay, it's a free service, and of course you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that be of interest to you? Okay, our list includes. I would rather you emphasize daily updates than our list includes. Do you understand why, Marco? Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Right?
It keeps it fresh and getting updated.
The last thing I want you to think is that I'm trying to book an appointment with you so I can send you one list of properties. It's one list of properties isn't beneficial enough. After all, you've already sent me a list of properties. But what would be beneficial enough for me to come and meet you is to say, I'm not sending you a list of properties today. I'm sending you a list of properties every day that those properties come on the market. It's daily. For as long as there are properties that are coming on the market that match what you're looking for, they're going to be in your email inbox, but I want to do a good job of determining exactly what you're looking for. When do you have 15 or 20 minutes? It's free, there's no obligation, and I'm flexible. So that's the part that everyone needs to highlight on the script. The word daily is way more important than the word list. List is not nearly as beneficial as daily. And put them together, and now we're really talking daily list. All right, really good job. I appreciate you your volunteering. That was a really excellent job.
All right, thank you.
All right, Andrea, who's next?
Our next guest is Edgar Ubina, and I'm going to pull up his line really quickly. Hold on one second. Oh, Edgar, I'm going to need you to enter your PIN code. There you go. Edgar, go ahead.
Yeah, how's it going, James?
Good, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good, you, sir.
Excellent, excellent. What would you like to do today?
I want to do a seller lead on a Z buyer source.
Okay. So, ring, ring. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello?
Oh, hello, is this James?
Yes, it is.
Hey, James, this is Edgar. I'm responding to a request for the free home evaluation that you ordered. Are you thinking of putting your property on the market by any chance?
Well, eventually.
Eventually?
Uh-huh.
Okay, got it. Are you thinking of putting it on the market in the next 3 to 6 months by some sort?
I don't know about that. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Okay, gotcha. And if you were to move, would you be staying in the area of where you're living right now, or you'd be staying out of that area?
Yeah, no, we've already bought new construction, so we're staying in the area. We're just waiting for our property to be ready.
So you already bought a new construction and you're waiting for your property to be ready?
Correct.
Okay, I gotcha. Gotcha. And when do you think you might, you might move, more or less, accurately?
Um, well, they said that it was supposed to be ready in May, but I'm just
Hmm.
looking at my calendar right now and it's June and it's not ready. So, you know what? It might be a couple months.
Okay. Okay. And would you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Yeah, we've got a couple different realtors that we've been talking to. Here's our issue is that the properties in our neighborhood, they're selling, like in less than 2 weeks. There was one last week, or it was the week before last now, that sold. I mean, it sold immediately, right away. It sold. So we're not too concerned. I mean, obviously we want to make sure we get top dollar, but you know, we'll we want to make sure that that our property's ready.
Okay, got it.
That's where we're at right now.
There's a big difference between what realtors do and what they charge. And let me ask you a quick question, James. If we had a buyer that was very serious and willing and qualified to pay a price agreeable to you, would you by any chance accept an offer through our company?
Of course, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
because
we couldn't. We'd have to be flexible because we're not moving out of here until our place is ready.
no, of course, I definitely get that. Well, what I like to do is I can offer you that free home market evaluation that you had ordered previously. That we can help you, with give you what more or less what your home would sell for, and also we can give you tips on what to do and not to do, so you can get the most amount of money, and we can go over the various closing costs that you will incur, so you know exactly what you have left in your pocket after all expenses are paid. And James, let me reassure you, there's free charge, and of course it obligates you to nothing. Does that sound helpful?
Yeah, I mean it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does to an extent, but I mean, what we're really going to be doing is we're looking. We know our property is going to sell, and it's going to sell fast, and I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much know what it's going to sell for. Within a reasonable margin. We're just looking for the realtor that's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fast, and we want to save money.
No,
So
of course.
we're not going to pay a 6% commission on a sale that's going to take 24 hours.
No, of course, gotcha. Well, what I'd like to do, since you already know almost everything about your property, we can give you more ideas on what you can do to get the most amount for your house. How about we go ahead and look at it this weekend, and then we can give you more or less a better and accurate figure on to determine what you can get for your property. Of course, what works best for you, days or evenings?
Um, Something on Saturday is fine.
Okay, do you prefer in the morning or the afternoon, James?
Morning, after 10 a.m.
Gotcha. After 10 a.m. Okay, so let's do 11 a.m. And would you be there, or would you quite be there as well?
No, we'll all be here.
Okay, what's her name so I can put her in the appointment? Mrs. James.
Janet.
Janet. Okay, so I'll put her here, and then we can go ahead and schedule that for Saturday at 11. And I'm gonna send you right now all the text with the contact info of the person that's gonna be there. Okay.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's back up the bus here because there are a couple things there that you did that I really like, and then there are other things there that I wasn't as thrilled about. So first
Okay.
of all, let's while it's fresh in our minds, here's what I really liked. You're not trying to sell me on the idea of using you, which is exactly correct. Over the phone is not the time to battle commission. It's just not. Nor is it the time to try to win the listing. Nor is it the time to try to convince me that you're the better agent. None of
Mhm.
that is suitable for over the phone. All of it is suitable face to face.
Mhm.
So everything that you did there really makes sense. Now here's just some food for thought. It wasn't necessary, but perhaps it would have been. If I had said to you, hey, look, I know what our home is going to sell for, and I know it's going to sell quickly. So it's not really necessary. This is what you want to present, the shred of doubt. You want to be able
Okay.
to say this. Hey, Edgar, although properties are selling quickly, I think that if you did a little research, what you'd find out is this. They are not all selling for the exact same amount of money. There are properties in your neighborhood that are selling for more money than other properties. There are things that you can do and not do to get more money for your home if you were aware of what these things are. If I can take a look at your property, I can share those with you. It's free, there's no obligation, and I'm flexible. When would be a good time?
I
now,
like that.
in a roundabout way, you did do that, but sometimes you need to pull that out and emphasize that to the prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing a townhome community where
Mm-hmm.
there are a few, maybe a couple hundred homes in this townhome community, and they're all pretty much the same. And you know that they all sell within a few $1,000s of each other, because there are maybe 3 or 4 different models, but they're all very, very similar. So it's very predictable. But this is true. If you're able to say to the prospect, look, I know you've done a little bit of research, and you're likely aware that although the properties are all selling very quickly in your neighborhood, there are certain properties that are selling for more money than others. They are not selling for the exact same amount. Some are selling for more. If I can take a look at your property, I can share with you what to do and not do to make sure that you maximize the amount of money that you're getting out of your property. It's free. There's no obligation. Would that be of interest to you? You know what they're going to say to that? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so and you did that, and I was really impressed. That, I mean, as a prospect, you can't say no to that. Okay, now, but
Yeah.
here's what I didn't like as much. In the beginning, I didn't feel like you really used the script. You're way too aggressive as a salesperson to make me comfortable. All I did was I requested information, and you're peppering me with questions. Are you selling right now? It's like you came across way too much as a commission-hungry salesperson instead of calling as a courtesy because you are the provider of information. If I get the bad taste in my mouth that you're an aggressive salesperson, the problem is this. Once I've determined that I feel uncomfortable with you, it's very hard to reverse that feeling that I have about you. So here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to go back later on this afternoon or this evening, and I want you to listen to our role play together here. And I want you to hear what I heard when you and I did this role play. And you're gonna see in the beginning, instead of following the script and asking probing questions that aren't intrusive, you went off script, and instead I felt like you peppered me with a very direct approach that seemed not as though you're more interested in providing me information to help me, but more interested in getting the commission on my property.
Okay.
All right, so I want you to work on that, because if the prospect feels that way, you're going to have a tough time.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool deal.
Gotcha.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Let's see who's next, Andrea.
Our next few guests have questions. It's from Ira. What would you do if a prospect says they have another realtor that they are 100% committed to, but they still want you to send them the properties?
Well, you have sent them the properties. Okay, so in other words, listen to the script. It's James calling with Craig Proctor's office at RE/MAX. Just calling to let you know I did receive your request on my website for the distress sales. I did send those to you. I hope that's okay. You did. You've already sent them the properties. You're good. What you're saying is if they're 100% committed to working with another realtor, then you would never make them the offer to send them daily emails, because that comes first. So I've told you I've already sent you the list of properties that are currently available in the market. Now I'm saying, are you thinking about making a move, staying locally, when that might be? Are you working with another realtor? Do you have an agent to help you? Yes, we do. Oh, are you 100% committed to them? Yes, it's my brother-in-law, and we're going to use them certainly. Okay, great. Well, enjoy the properties that I sent. Have a wonderful day, and thank you very much. Case closed. Move on to the next one. But you're not making the offer now to send daily updates to somebody that just told you, I'm going to be working with my brother-in-law. What you're saying to the person that says, I'm going to be working with my brother-in-law is, have a great day, goodbye. So that should be an easy one. All right, next.
Okay, our next participant, Ellen, says, I get a lot of leads through the RE/MAX website, and I'm trying to modify some of the scripts to use as either email responses or to use if I actually reach these prospects, some of them who give their phone numbers.
Well, they're the best ones, for sure. Anyone that leaves it, when they leave their phone number to request information, it's not so much that they're expecting that they're going to get a phone call necessarily, but what it does is, when someone is serious and motivated, when they reach that, they're more ready. In order to get the information that they want, they're willing to give up more, That's really what it boils down to is, I know that I want this information. I know that I'm at that point. So if the only way I can get this information is I got to give up some of my anonymity, I'm cool. I'll do it. All you want to modify, okay, this is all you need to modify in the script. It's only the introduction. What I would ask you is this: what did they receive when they went on the RE/MAX website that they left their information? Why did they leave their information? What were they looking to receive by doing that? Whatever it was, that's what you need to use in your introduction. I noticed you were on our RE/MAX website and you had requested information about whatever. Just calling to let you know that that information was provided. I hope that's okay. So it's very easy to modify the script. All you need to know is what information did they either ask for or get when they went onto the RE/MAX website that caused them to leave their contact details. Good question.
Okay, Maria says, before calling, should I send the information they are asking for? How many listings should I send?
Yes, you should send the information, absolutely, without question. As a matter of fact, the more you can automate it, the better. So remember, the benefit to the prospect is they can get the information at their convenience. The benefit to us is we get to follow up with the prospect at our convenience. So you have to send the prospect the information they requested. And the sooner they get that information, the better that you'll look when you follow up with them. In other words, let's say that we could automate this through your IDX so that it sent them 6 to 10 properties. Now, there may not be 6 to 10 properties, but ideally, 6 to 10 properties is perfect. If there are more than that, we really don't want to send more than that. But if someone requests an area home sales report or somebody requests a free list of properties and we can email them 6 to 10 properties, that's perfect. If we can automate it through our IDX so that it happens automatically, that they get an email from us with those properties, now to the prospect, we sent them those properties at their convenience. So when we follow up with them, we're able to say, you requested some information about distressed sales, bank foreclosures. I did send that list out to you. I hope that's okay. The prospect says, yeah, you did. I got it right away. How many properties? 6 to 10 is perfect. We really don't need to send more than that. Remember this, they're not going to buy the properties that you send them. The properties that you're sending them are properties that have already been overlooked by all the other buyers. That's why they're for sale. The property that you're going to buy hasn't even come on the market yet, which is, by the way, something that's really great to have in your arsenal, okay? When you're explaining this to a prospect and they don't understand, or you get the impression that they really don't understand your offer, this is some really good dialogue that you need to have in your arsenal, be really comfortable with. It's basically this: Mr. Mrs. Prospect, the property that you're likely to purchase is not for sale today. The property that you're likely to purchase is not available for sale today. Right now, the owners of your new home are in the process of considering putting their home on the market. They're getting ready to put their home on the market. They might put their home on the market tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be months from now. But the home that you're ultimately going to buy is very likely not on the market for sale today. Here's the key. As soon as that property is available for sale, you need to be the first ones that know about it. That's what I'm proposing we do. I'm going to notify you the second these properties are available so you can beat out other buyers who are looking for properties like you are. It's free, there's no obligation. Would that be helpful? Doesn't that just make so much sense to everybody? As opposed to this, I'm going to send you a list of properties that have been on the market for months and no one's bought them. Now, why do you think no one's bought them? Because they're not what you're looking for. They're obviously not great deals. They're obviously properties that are overpriced. They're the leftovers. The best properties are all sold. The property that you're going to buy, the best deal, has not even come on the market yet. Next question, Andrea.
Our next question is from John. He says, can we automate with IDX through Success website?
Yes, you absolutely can. Success website will set that up for you. They have HDX, but they do this every day. So by all means, call Success website and talk to them about that, about setting that up through IDX, and they'll be able to do that for you.
Okay, Sue has a question. As someone new to real estate, how does one find all the homes not listed yet on the MLS to provide the prospects?
Well, you're not going to find all of them, but certainly you're going to find some. Now, here's how this really works, is that the best properties are on MLS. Okay, the best properties are going to be on MLS. It is 90+% likely that the property that the prospect purchases is going to be on MLS. The key is getting them that property in their inbox as quickly as you possibly can. Now, here's the question. Do you have access to those properties that are going to be put on MLS? Do you have access to those properties before Realtor.com, Trulia, etc. do? And the answer is yes, definitely. So you need to make sure that you are able to access and send them those properties the moment they're available. Now, what about the properties that aren't? Are there agents in your office that have post-dated listings, essentially? In other words, I've got a property that's not yet available on MLS, but it's coming up as a live listing next week. You know, there are all kinds of examples like this that you can access. Are there lots of them? No, but they are available. And what this allows you to do is present these properties as opportunity to the prospect. Same is true with various lenders. You know, they've got properties that are in pre-foreclosure, but this is how you build relationships, you know, in the real estate community to find out about all of these properties. But start with your office. All of the realtors in your office, they're all doing what you're doing. They're all out trying to find listings. Some of them have listings that are going to be coming on the market, but aren't on the market yet. Well, if you know about those properties that are going to be coming on the market, that would be pretty helpful. You'd be able to present those as opportunities to the buyers that you're working with. Next question.
Okay, we have a hand raised from Rommel Sanchez. Your mic is now open. Rommel? Okay, we have Sam Shao. Your line is now open.
Hello,
Hi,
Sam.
James. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Just want to role play Commission Inc. lead.
Perfect. All right. So ring. Hello.
Hi, may I speak to James McDonald, please?
Yeah, this is he. Who's this?
Hi, James. This is Sam Shaw from Remax, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request to search for homes for sale using our property search site, findnorthoakregionhomes.com.
Yep.
And as a courtesy, I was just calling to let you know that I've given you full access to search away. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I was wondering, are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, hopefully, if we find something.
Okay, and are you renting or do you own your own property?
Yeah, we're renting right now. We're new to the area.
Okay, and do you have a real estate agent to help you when the time's right?
Nope.
Would you like me to email you daily update of homes that match your exact home buying criteria, not just from real estate companies, but as well as any bank-owned properties, distressed sales, homes that are not on the MLS yet, or homes that are not available to the public on the internet? It's free of charge, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home with us. Would that be helpful, James?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the more properties, the better, sure.
Absolutely. When would be a good time for us to get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for? Days, evenings, or weekends?
You know what? I'm pretty busy. Actually, I'm not pretty busy. I'm really busy. I'm pulling my hair out here. The reason that we're here, I got a job transfer from Edmonton, and I've just been swamped. So I'd appreciate it. I mean, I did on your website. I put down all the information of what we're looking for. So I'm hoping that that's detailed enough that you could just go with that. But yeah, I don't know when I'm going to have time to meet with you.
Well, James, I want to do a good job for you, and rather than emailing you hundreds of properties that may or may not match what you're looking for, or worse, missing out on the perfect one, if you can get together for 20 minutes and I can get a great understanding of exactly what it is you're looking for, you'll be less likely to miss out on the perfect home. It actually saves you time and money in the long run. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I suppose it does. Okay, what about on the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Would Saturday work or would Sunday be better for you?
Yeah, Saturday's fine, anytime afternoon.
Okay, so how's Saturday 1 o'clock? I got 1 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, no, 1 o'clock's fine.
1 o'clock. And James, our office is located at Yonge and Steeles inside Center Point Mall. Are you familiar with that area?
Yep. Yep,
Okay,
that's fine.
great. And are you the only decision maker, or will there be any others?
No. I'd come with my wife.
Great. And what is your wife's name?
Janet?
Janet. Great. I look forward to meeting you and Janet on Saturday at 1 o'clock. And again, when we get together, James, I'll take down your exact home buying criteria, and we'll review some of the homes in your price range now. And then going forward, we'll be emailing you all the new listings as they come on the market. And again, there's no cost or obligation for any of that. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Cool.
Okay. Hey, Sam, good job, man. That was really, really good. Here's a suggestion I have to make, though. You really should ask more of the qualifying questions about timing. See, here's what I didn't like. You really didn't ask any questions about my timing. In other words, like figuring out when do you think that might be? How long have you been looking? See, here's what you don't know. What if I said this to you? My lease does not end until March of next year. I've got a lease. My lease does not end until March of next year, and I'm not month to month. It's all prepaid. I paid the lease.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason
you don't know that because you didn't ask, right? So you don't know now. So here's my problem is, hey, you know what? I booked the appointment. I came in. There's nothing wrong with getting me in. You know what you'd have to do? Sign me to a 12-month buyer agreement. That's what you'd have to do.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
Right. But in a perfect world,
But James, sorry, can I just ask you something?
Sure.
Like the reason I didn't ask those two because in the platinum lead conversions that Todd does, he taught us that if they say yes to 3 to 6 months, there's no reason asking, well, if you were to make a move, will you be staying in the area? Or if you were to make a move, when do you think that might be? So that's why I didn't ask you. I just wanted to make the offer.
This is the difference, man, is that the purpose of asking the questions isn't because we don't already know the answer. The purpose of asking the question is for them to elaborate on their situation, on their moving plans, right? Like, the only way to start a conversation, do you agree that the more we know about the prospect, the better we'll understand, where they're at, how motivated they are, how serious they are. So we have to get them to talk. Here's the question. How do you get them to talk? And the answer is by asking questions. So what Craig figured out is there are some awesome questions to ask that cause the prospect to talk. It's not that we don't know that, yes, they already said, we're thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months. Yeah, we are. Well, if you were to move, would you be staying locally or, are you moving out of the area? Have you considered that? We know they're looking in the area. They've already requested homes in the area. We already know the answer to that. The reason we're asking is because we want them to talk. We just want them to say, yeah, you know what? We're looking in this particular area over here. We really like Thornhill because it's close to the 404. Like whatever. But the more they talk, the more we can help them. But the challenge is getting them to talk. So that's why there are circumstances where you can bypass, but if they're not very talkative and we're not getting information, then you've got to ask the questions. So this is how I'd split the difference. If the prospect is willing to share with you their motivation and timing, then you're right. You don't need to, that's the purpose, so you're good. But if they don't, if they're not really saying much, then you have to ask every single question to try to get them to share with you their timing and motivation. And that's why the questions are designed the way they're designed. So that was a really good job, though. Really liked the offer that you made. I mean, that was really, really well done. And it just goes to show, it doesn't matter that the prospect has access to properties, that they're looking at properties. It's irrelevant. The offer that you're making is better. And as long as they understand that what you're offering them now is better than what they're currently doing or currently getting, then, you know, we can get the fish to jump in the boat. Very good job, Sam. Really appreciate you volunteering and ending it on that note today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Andrea, thank you so much for your help as well. Let me remind everybody, tomorrow is the Ad Clinic session. So all of your lead generation related questions, etc., bring them tomorrow morning for the webinar, and I'll look forward to sharing with you any suggestions that we might have on your marketing. Until then, thanks so much, Andrea. Thanks for your help as always.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Talk to you all in tomorrow's Marketing Clinic. Have a great afternoon.